the vibes. What's up, South African TV? It's your boy Ashton here. Today we're going to be talking about feature finding and how to spot features and where carp can possibly be. So first I'd like to show two things out here what we can see with our eyesight features. If you look towards us here by this island, we see that there's one feature of where we can possibly find carp. On the right of it you'll see reeds, on the left of it you'll see the reeds. So those are possible features that you can see that's castable in range to pick up fish, right? Other thing is features that we can't see. So that is where leading comes into play. So what we're using here is a 4-ounce gripper lead. So this here indicates on what we feel on the bottom, how to identify ground. Is it soft ground, is it gravel, is it weed, silt. This is all types of indication you can pick up on the ground that you're going to be fishing on. It also helps you to get a rig into presentation. So before we continue, let's just show a quick sample of what we're talking about with the weight on the ground. So if you see, using braid is instead of mono, it helps a lot more because you get more of an indication, whereas mono stretches, but braid is more stiff. So it allows you to get proper indication. Also the rod that we're using, this is not a dedicated sport rod or marker rod, but this rod is actually my normal fishing rod. This is a Jackal 13-foot distance rod. It's quite stiff, it's not a soft rod, so it also gives more vibration on the tip as you're pulling the lead across the ground. So if you notice here with the lead, how the tip moves. If you look at the tip, can you see the tip, how the tip is by picking up the vibration on the ground? This shows us the indication on the ground. So all the indication we're going to be looking for now is going to be on how we feel the rod moving in the water. So one thing when using braid, when doing feature finding, it's always good to have a little bucket of water at your disposal on the side. Just grab some water, wet your braid. So yeah, just want to wet the braid, make sure that the braid is nice and wet. This helps prevent wind knots when the braid is going, when the line is going out. So now let's get out. Let's start looking for the spot that we want to possibly find the fish on. So what we're gonna do is that's about possibly round about close to the island. I'd say about maybe 10 to 20 meters away. So what I'm gonna do now is let's just get the braid all stiff on the ground. We already know that the line is down, so now we wait in a bit. Awesome. Right. Now let's start feeling the ground. Nice and tight. If you pick up on the ice, you see the way the ice is going into the rod. Now we're gonna gently pull it across. So we got possibly snags here. That seems like a good spot to fish on. I would say just fishing before the snags. As we pull in the rod up again, we can feel that this is soft here. This is soft ground that we want. It's just gliding nicely. The item is stiff. So we're just looking now. We're looking for a ground. So we already know from what we have picked up so far, the ground is soft. So this is a good feature for us underwater, that we know that the ground is soft. It's soft ground. So what I'm looking for now is I want to try and find a tip. So I'm going to reel until I find a good spot. There we go. That's quite stiff. There could be maybe some loose sand or silt. Look at it on the tip. The tip is moving nicely. Oh, there we go. drops. There we go. So we've picked up one drop. Now what I want to do now is I want to clip the line to the first drop that I felt. Okay, so now line is clipped up at our first one. Now we continue going. Ground is nice, soft, moving. There's some gravel there. I felt a bit of the bounce, the vibration. Awesome. So now we found the ground we want to fish on. It is clipped up. So what we're going to try and do now is we're going to take this back to the distance sticks and see what distance we get out. Just wanted to make sure that the line clip was clipped on the gravel that I felt. So we are happy with that there. Feels awesome. Now to get to the distance stick, let's check the distance out, what we're fishing at. Alright, so now getting to our distance sticks that we have on the ground. These distance sticks are 5 meters apart. We like to see the ground that we okay, let's see how many reps these are. Calculate. After getting to our distance sticks, our distance sticks is 5 meters apart, and we got 11 reps. So what we're going to do now is we're going to attach a marker float to find out how deep the ground is that we're fishing on. We've liked that, we've picked up a bump, so that could be a channel that what was identified in the bump. So let's just attach a marker, and then from there we are going to chat about how to pick up the depth of water. Alright, so as I mentioned, it's 11 reps on our 5 meter distance sticks. This is 55 meters of what we're going to be filling out. Now, this is a NASH spot on marker. It's a lovely marker. What I like about this marker is when fishing a braid, normally the markers tend to wrap themselves up. Now, if you look at the eye ring on this, look at that eye ring. This eye ring doesn't allow for anything to wrap up when it's in the air. Normally when fishing with a marker, it's wise when using braid just to put at least about 3 meters of mono on it so that you don't get the wrap. Right, let's get out.
You have a blanket, you put yourself.
So when using your distance sticks to get your line marked out, we've just picked up a problem now where the wind is blowing, and because the braid is so light, we had a small tangle up. Always make sure that you're holding your braid stiff against the distance sticks. Shouldn't be loose, tight enough. Okay, so now time to rig up. We're getting ready for our rig. The rig we're going to use is a heel stuff rig. What we want first is one of our pop-ups. This is a stale pop-up, coconut. It's a coconut pop-up, and we're going to put this on a chocolate, oily from bait products. So again, fishing on your ground, you know the ground that you're going to fish on. It's now your matter of choice whether what do you prefer? Do you prefer a bait that stands out, or do you prefer a bait that's going to blend into the ground? So the reason I'm choosing this tool is because for me, one, the dull color blends in with our ground, and the white color is going to stand out nice. This is a snowman rig that we're going for. So what we're going to need for this rig is some floss. The floss I'm using is not bait floss, this is normal dental floss. Okay, let's get out to the rig and put this on. Alright, so let's walk you through the rig. This rig here is a hinge stiff rig. So what we done was, we got a size 4 curve shank hook here with a coated braid. We got some putty on a little swivel, and then we have a fluorocarbon knot behind it. Right, so what we're gonna do now, the thing that I like about this rig is, based on this rig here, if you look on this rig is on the ground and Carp puts it up. It's got that nice plate to help it, you know, hook properly. It gives you a good hook set. You won't, if the Carp decides to pick up your boilie, basically this is your rig on the ground, and what happens is if that fish sucks it up, only the coated braid with your hook length is moving, everything else is still pinned to the bottom, and this allows you for a good hook set. Right, so what we're going to do now is, let's get our floss here. Just want to thread our floss through. There we go, got our floss in, and now for our rig. Bait, we're getting our bait on. See, this actually slipped. So what we're gonna do now, let's just trim part of that floss off. That's what we want. So now the next thing to do is, let's just try and burn this. It's a bit windy out here, so we're gonna try and see if we can burn this and stick it. Got a bit of a black spot, but that's fine. Awesome, so there's your rig. This is the rig we're going for. Now let's go and test in the water, make sure it's popping off the ground nicely. Right, now time to test our rig to see how does it sit in the water. Lovely. Okay, so what we're noticing now here is that the pop-up is sitting a bit too high. So what I'm going to do is just going to trim this a bit, trim it nicely a little bit so that we get it to sit just perfect on the ground. So what we're doing now is we're just trimming our pop-up a bit. There we go. The nice thing about this is we also get some flavor out of this. Awesome. Let's get again. Let's see how does it display in the water. Ah, perfectly balanced. The rig is balanced on the ground. The bait is right. The boil is right there. It's just popping up perfect. Time to get us out in the water. Alright, time to get on the spot now. Where we're gonna bait up. As you notice, right next to our marker, perfectly. That's the thing of a marker. The best thing about having a marker is it shows you the depth of the water where you're fishing. It helps you pick up the ground, and now we can see where to place our rig. We got our rig placed perfectly next to the marker. Peace. Time to bait up. I got my boilie pipe. It's a ProLogic throwing stick. It's good to just wet the tip when throwing out the boilies so they don't split. Now, what we want to see is, can we get us boilies out on the short range where we're going? Right, here's our marker. Let's see if we can get it to the marker. There you go. Right, now that was just using the boilie pipe, and we got it out close to our marker. We got 3. Awesome guys, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Remember to subscribe, like and share. Right, this is your boy Ashton, Carp Angler.